Hey guys, know it's been a while, but I'm back. I know I've been missing, but I have to catch you guys up. Um, so here goes. I hope y'all been doing good. Here goes. So I turned 40 this year. Yay, 40. Huh? I'm cute to say I'm 40. I don't look 40. Well, I hope I don't look 40, but if I do, oh well. So of course you turn 40. It's your birthday. Every year you get your yearly checkups. Well, you're supposed to. I hope y'all getting y'all yearly checkups too, because it's important. Blood work, get your physicals, everything you need to get done. So in June, I go for my yearly checkup, blood work. She's gonna check my heart pressure, all that good stuff. Um, as a 40-year-old woman, female, 40-year-old women, you start getting mammograms. My doctor asked me, she was like, "You want to go ahead and schedule a mammogram?" Of course, I'm 40. Let's do it. Um, she checked everything else. Everything else is fine. My blood work is good. My weight is good. All my, you know, pressure is fine. Everything else is good. So, she schedules my mammogram for, I think the following week or so, sometime in July. You know how that go. The lousy back up, so it takes a minute. So, schedule my in for July. So, go. I have my mammogram done. And there's a stigma about mammograms that you hear from other females saying they hurt, and it's uncomfortable at best, but it doesn't hurt. But and FYI, get your mammograms, ladies. It's important. Get them done. So I have the mammogram done. I'm not thinking nothing of it. It's a mammogram. So maybe a week later, I get a phone call from my doctor saying that I needed to go back for additional images on my right breast because they didn't get any good pictures, um and I needed to have an ultrasound, and they saw I had some dense tissue, so it might just be the fact that I had dense tissue. So um that they just needed to do additional images, and I had to have an ultrasound. Okay, that's fine. So they scheduled me to do that. Think I'm trying to remember. I don't know. They scheduled me later than the week, maybe a week later or something, to go have the ultrasound and the additional images done. So I go, I did the additional images first, go have an ultrasound, the ultrasound my right breast. She tells me, well, the doctor's here. He can review these now and let if it's fine, if these are work, or if we need to do this all over again because these pictures are still not good. So I'm waiting. I maybe waited about 10, 15 minutes. She comes back in. She was like, well, we gonna refer you to a breast specialist because we're not sure. We see something, but we don't really know what it is. It could be nothing, and it could be something, but he's not sure, and he want to be sure. And me, I'm like, okay, let's be sure. Better safe than sorry. Refer me to the breast specialist. Let's do it. Um, so she was like, they'll call you and schedule that appointment. So I think the following day, maybe 2 days went by, and I get a phone call, and she was like, "Well, we gonna schedule an appointment for the specialist, and the specialist also wanna go ahead and schedule blood work or biopsy, blood work maybe. I think it was blood work and a biopsy. It was blood work and a biopsy of that spot that he wasn't sure about. Okay, this was around the 1st of August." And the reason why I'm telling y'all dates, I want y'all to see how fast things moved. So around the beginning of August, I meet with the specialist. Um, and she pretty much tells me the same thing the other doctor said. We reviewed your ultrasound results, and we see a little we see a spot. We're not sure what it is. We won't show what it is until after your biopsy. But And don't be worried, because this happens to a lot of women. It could be just dense breast tissue. Okay. So after that, I go, I go downstairs. I have blood work. Maybe the next day. I can't remember if it was the same day or the next day. I go in to have that particular section biopsy. Um, that was a little, it wasn't scary, but it was a little scary because, again, I've never had a biopsy in my life, so I didn't really know what to expect. But and it wasn't that bad. The worst part of that was the numbing stuff. So I have the biopsy. Maybe 3 or 4 days went by. This is like around August. I'm gonna say August 6th is the day I'm gonna always remember, because it's August, because of the following. August 6th, you get a phone call. It's the breast doctor. And she was like, are you busy? And I was like, no. She was like, can we go over your biopsy results? And I'm thinking, okay, she want to go over the biopsy results on the phone, so it's probably nothing, because, if it was something, if it was something serious, she would have called and be like, we need you to come in. And I hear her say, we got your biopsy results back, and you indeed have breast cancer. We did find cancer in that right breast. And at that point, my heart dropped. And I kind of zoned out. She was talking and I was hearing her, but now my head is going a mile a minute. My head is swirling. My emotions are coming out, and she's telling me stuff, but I'm not comprehending. I'm not really taking in what she's saying, because at this point, all I heard was I have breast cancer. But I did, she was like, are you okay? Because for a minute I just got quiet. So, she moved my follow-up appointment for the MRI up to the next day. So this was August 6th. They moved the follow-up appointment. They moved the appointment up to the 7th. Once it was confirmed I did have breast cancer. I get off the phone with her. I'm crying. Asking, I have so many thoughts going through my mind. It's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What about me? What about my husband? I'm only 40. I have so much life to live. So I called my husband. He's at work, so he didn't answer. So I texted him after he didn't answer, and he called me back when he got time. And of course I was still crying when he called, and he was like, and we talked about it, and he kind of calmed me down for a second, and he had to go back to work. So he goes back to work. I call my sister, because me and my sister are really, really close. And I tell her, and of course I'm crying all over again. She's crying, I'm crying. Wasn't a good combination. So we had to get off the phone. But once she composed herself, she called me back. She got it together. Maybe about 5-10 minutes later, she called me back, and she was like, I'm okay now, sister. You can talk. How you doing? How you feel. I know you're emotional. Don't cry. You're going to be fine. And I asked her, I was like, well, would you be able to stay on the phone with me? Or would you be able to do a group chat with me and Mom? Because I didn't want to stay on, I didn't want to tell Mom by myself. Because at that point, my sister and my husband were the only two people who knew that I had to go have a biopsy. I didn't want to tell my mom if there was nothing to worry about. because she has her own health issues going, and I didn't want to worry her. So I didn't tell her or anybody else besides my sister and my husband. My sister, who was the one who came with me to have the biopsy. Um, so my sister, she was at work also, so she was like, "Give me 5 minutes. I'm going to go take care of this right quick, and then we'll be able to, do a video chat with mom." So I'm still questioning, this can't be life. I'm still like, oh my God, this is my life. I can't believe this is my life. So my sister called back. I'm crying again. She was like, "You gotta calm down before we can talk to mom." And so I composed myself. I called, video chat my mom. I said, "Ma," this is my exact words to my mama, to my mom. "Ma, don't freak out, because I've been freaked out enough for both of us. But I have something to tell you." She was like, "What's the matter?" I was like, "I had a biopsy a couple of weeks ago, and a doctor just called and said I have breast cancer in my right breast." Now, I thought she was going to be overly emotional, and that's probably, and the reason why I don't think she was, because I hadn't already told her I was already emotional. But she was pretty much, she was really positive. She was like, "You're gonna be fine, and it's just um just a it's just something you got to go through, and you're gonna be fine. The Lord not gonna take my daughter. You're gonna be fine." And of course I'm crying all over again. So I get off the phone with her, and my husband called, and we talked some more, and he made sure I wasn't in my head. But at the same time, I didn't want to be in my head, because I was upset, but I didn't want him to know that I was that upset. So when he got home from work, I kind of like avoided the whole situation. I talked about the kids, and I made sure, the kids were in the room, and I clowned and joked with them. And so that first day, other than us talking about it on the phone, and him, asking me if I was all right, we didn't talk about it. But we didn't really go in depth about it. The next day, we go in, and him and my sister are with me. We go in, and we talk to the specialist, and she gives me, and we go over, the size of the mass and all that stuff. And at this point, we discuss my options. At that point, she gave me two options. Option one, I could choose to save my right breast. And by choose to save it, they would just go in, cut out the cancerous tissue, that mass, and sew me back up or whatever. And I would have to, after that, I would have to have radiation for 6 weeks every day for 30 minutes. Don't quote me on the 30 minutes, but I do know for sure I would have to have radiation for every day for the next 6 weeks if I chose option one, which was to save my breast. Option two was have a mastectomy. If you don't know what a mastectomy is when they go in and they cut out all your breast tissue, and they pretty much cut your breast off and all your breast tissue. If I go with that, there was a higher chance that they would get it all. I wouldn't have to do chemo or radiation, and that would decrease my chances of it coming back in the future. With option one, I still had a higher risk of it returning further down the line than with a mastectomy. So she gives me those two options. She tells me, take my time, do my research, do my research on both. She want me to make the decision for me. She said, I'm not going to tell you which choice to make because that's not my place. Every woman is different. She was like, you're young, you're got a full life ahead of you, you got kids, so whatever you decide, I'm going to support it and I'm going to do what you want as your doctor. So we go home. I'm sorry, rewind. After she gave me my two options, she said, well, we're going to schedule you for an MRI and we're going to also do a genetic testing. The MRI, we just going to get a better picture, a denser picture. And with the genetic testing, that's going to tell us if, this was something genetic, it's something that just happened. And with those two tests, they can also give you help you make a more informed decision. But go home, do your research on both options, and, choose what's right for you. So she said, you'll have about 2 weeks. She said, because the MRI, you got to schedule it. Then we got to wait for the results. She said, so give it about 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we'll come back. We'll reconvene. And you can tell me what you decide. At this point, my mom knows, my sister knows, my husband knows. But when we're leaving, I run the whole spiel down to my mom what the doctor said, and she said the same thing. Just choose what's best for you. I tell my siblings, but at that point, I only discussed, like within those 2 weeks, I only discussed my choice with my husband. And the reason for this is because I didn't want to, start discussing options with everybody because everybody's going to have their opinion and I didn't want it to sway my decision. So I only discussed it with him. Like we both went over the, he's a researcher, y'all. So he had researched from the day I called him and told him that the doctor said I had breast cancer. He's a researcher. He researched everything. He knew more about everything than I did at that point because he's a researcher. He's going to go find out the information. So, but we researched, we talked about it, we researched both options together, and he pretty much was like, it's your choice, whatever choice you decide. I just want to make sure you're going to be here for me and my, for us. I want to make sure you're going to be here for me and our kids. I was leaning more toward mastectomy, and that's only because there was like 0.0 chance that in a few years down the line I'm gonna be back here. And with option 1, I really didn't like the idea of having to have radiation for 6 weeks every day. That's a lot when you have 2 kids and school and all that. That's a lot. So I was more leaning toward more of mastectomy. So I told, like the day before the doctor called with my MRI results, I sat down, I talked to my husband, and I told him, I said, well, babe, I think I'm going to go ahead on and have the mastectomy. His exact words were, that's fine. I just want the bitch out. Excuse me, that's what he said, y'all. And I'm going to support you and I'm going to be there no matter what. And this was the day before the doctor called with the MRI results. So at that point, he knew my decision and I knew my decision, nobody else. The following day, the doctor called. She was like, oh, we got your MRI results. And according to the MRI, the initial mass is bigger than we thought. So you still can go with, you still have two options. You can still go with trying to save your breast, but I can't guarantee that your breast won't be deformed after we cut out that, that big of a mass. She was like, but you could still go that route if that's what you want to go. She was like, she said, I want to make sure you're informed, so you don't expect nothing. It's nothing you won't expect. So that pretty much, when she said that, and that there's a higher chance, she also said there's a higher chance that even if they cut out that mass and I save that brush, it might be deformed. The radiation, there's still a chance that the cancer could come back. There's a higher chance than with having a mastectomy. But remember, I had already decided to have the mastectomy before I even talked to her. So I tell her, I was like, well, you know what? I had already made my decision to have the mastectomy, but the MRI results and what you're telling me now has just pretty much confirmed I already made the right decision. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead on and have a mastectomy. So I decided to have a mastectomy. So the next step was to actually, get the surgery scheduled, meet with the plastic surgeon about having a breast reconstruction. So after that phone call, at the beginning of September, I meet with her again. We go over all the pre-op stuff. We discuss the surgery in depth. What should I expect before, during, after? How long the surgery will be? How long my hospital stay will be? And that same day, I actually meet with the plastic surgeon about reconstruction. And, because we only, again, that's what, remember, we only talking about my right breast. So my right breast, I mean, we got two. So, so of course, she was like, they'll probably do a reconstruct, they'll probably just do a lift on your left and then reconstruct on your right. But that'll be a question for the plastic surgeon. I'll be able to tell you more about that. So, same day after I leave her office, I go meet with the plastic surgeon, and he goes over his part. Tells me what they're going to do with the right after the mastectomy and what they're going to do with the left after. It'll be one. They'll be doing a dual surgery, so they'll be doing both surgeries at the same time. So they'll be doing the mastectomy. Then he'll come in after her, and he'll do the reconstruct. And as far as my left, he's just going to do a lift on my left because there's no cancer tissue at all in my left. They only found cancer in my right. And this was on September 5th. They gave me the surgery date of September 23rd. So in the meantime, I prep, because he also informed me that for 3 weeks, I won't be able to pretty much do anything with my right side. My left side, I won't be as restricted on my left as my right, because they're only doing the lift. But for the first week, I won't be able to do pretty much anything either from in this section right here. I won't be able to do anything. But as far as the right, for 3 whole weeks, no cooking, no cleaning, no lifting, no nothing with my right side. So and he tells me they give him my surgery date, which is September 23rd. So from the 5th to that day, now it's time to make preparations for like the kids and my husband and cooking and cleaning, because for 3 weeks I can't cook, I can't clean, no lifting. And he was adamant, nothing, no cooking, no cleaning, no nothing with this right side. He was like, he asked me was I right-handed or left-handed, I think, but that didn't matter because nothing at all. So and my husband got to do all my duties. So he took off work, of course. Within those 2 weeks, I make preparations. I comb my daughter's hair. I start cooking and putting food in the freezer so they'll have to eat, so my husband wouldn't have to cook or buy food. And in those weeks, I was fine. Like I was emotional when I first found out, but I was kind of at peace. I wasn't sad and I wasn't moping. I did have my moments where I would cry. I would, get sad and cry. But overall, I was doing pretty good. I was, enjoying, living my life. I was, spending time with my husband, my kids, doing normal stuff. It's like nothing had changed, but at the same time, nothing had changed other than I was prepping for surgery. I didn't really get too scared or anxious or nervous until the night before. Like the night before, I could not sleep. I was up. I was worrying. I was just worried and anxious and all that. But that's the update for now. I'll do another update with y'all soon, but I've been on here a little too long, so I'll give y'all another update soon. But in case anybody was wondering, I'm doing fine. I'm recovering fine. If y'all have any questions, y'all can drop them in the comments, and I'll do a Q&A one day and answer them. My next update will be surgery day, and I'll give y'all an update about surgery and everything after. See y'all later. Peace.